First and foremost, I want to give all of the praise and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakak Wadash, and double honors to the apostles of the great millstone, and also saluting to all of you brothers out there that's forwarding this truth, as we ought to believe that we're of the hopeful elect, and it's your brother Laban. And so this is the topic of discussion that I was alluding to over here, as this reads from the Standard, right? Trump in news tirade against Starmer for not deploying UK warships for Iran. War has its plans to open Hormuz Strait flounders. So as this reads here, early on Monday, the Prime Minister said Britain would not be drawn into the wider war, as he and others world leaders refused to jump to Trump's demand for a fleet of warships to unblock the key waterway. The UK, Germany, Italy, Australia, Japan, and Greece were among countries who at least initially declined to sign up to the US president's plan to get commercial ships with naval escorts moving again through the strait. So DJ Trump wanted them to sacrifice their lives to move against this, to move into the strait while there were mines under there. You see, showing you how this man is, man. And it's like I was watching what was I watching? I forgot what I was watching, man. But it came out that Trump was saying something along the lines that he wanted to mess around with Iran for fun. So then now it's like these nations are beginning to think, yo, this man is a madman. Like, I don't really think we really should be doing business with this guy, man. And this is what we see right here, right now, is that these nations are backing out because they're realizing that America, they're just on a war path. They're just on a war path, and they don't really care of the consequences of the things that they do. And it's like they have no care of the consequences that's going to come out of this situation. You know, and DJ Trump, he's always struck me as a guy with no diplomacy anyway. So how much more in the time of war? He's going to do horribly. And that's what he's doing right now. It's to be expected yet again. As his plan appeared to be floundering, Trump reserved some of his strongest criticism for Sir Keir Starmer and the UK stance. I was very surprised with the UK because the UK 2 weeks ago said, why don't you send some ships over? And he really did not want to do it, the president said. Yeah, so Trump is just getting emotional right now because he didn't get the reaction that Nato was supposed to have when he went over there to go, deal with Iran the first time. And now it's like, they're still in that spirit of backing out of it. And the reason why, because these nations, they're diplomatic and they know the consequences of what will be had after if they go and attack Iran. You know what I'm saying? So America isn't that important nation like they're trying to convey anymore. They're not essential. The people that are essential to do business with is the people in the East, especially where it concerns that oil. Iran is looking more important now. All right? Because without oil, if everyone's getting their oil over there and they're closing the Strait of Hormuz, what does that do to economies? It's going to collapse the economies, man. And you might end up, you might happen to deal with hyperinflation. You know what I'm saying? So not only is the economy going to collapse, but every single thing is going to go up in price. And so this is what politicians don't understand. But Trump, with his ego and his pride, which again ties in the Bible prophecy yet again, he's going to make these stupid moves. And it's just going to cause a great deal of disruption all around. And it's really going to bring America to his knees. Or better yet, to his destruction. Okay? Again, this is Bible prophecy, man. These are the same words we were reading out of the Bible at a consistent basis. And this is what we see coming to pass. Okay? Obadiah 1 and verse 7. All of the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. Let's look up this word confederacy, shall we? The word is bara'af, which means to be in covenant with, right? Alliance, pledge between men, treaty, alliance, league, man to man, constitution, ordinance, agreeing, pledge, alliance. So we get the gist. Now something should come to mind. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization. I just said it before. Because back during during the time of the Treaty of Rome, if I'm correct, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization was formulated right around 1949. There you go, 1949, to pose up against the Soviet Union at the time. Okay, and then you had a doctrine such as Trumanism, which is a form of democracy that the Americans were told to believe in and to fight against communism. All right, so that was to get the military powers on board to pose up against the Soviets in places, of course, like Russia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, you name it, all of those different areas in Eastern Europe. And that was all bullshit any doggone way. So, with that being said, that era there, around the 1940s, the late 1940s, heading into the 1950s, this is when you had the North Atlantic Treaty Organization come together. To be more precise, 1949. All right. And now what do we see? We see the same organization that was supposed to be in treaty with one another. Now we're seeing the treaty of them break apart, as well as that's written in the book of Mark 3 and verse 23. If Satan be divided against itself, its house cannot stand. As I like to say, when you think of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, that was a powerhouse of the West. Nobody could fuck with them. But now what do we see? We see a different situation where there's a division. Okay? So now what I want to do is I want to go up and I want to read this again. All of the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border, and the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. So when you eating bread with somebody, when you sit down at the dinner table and you eating with somebody, that somebody has to be your best friend. Because what you're basically expressing is an intimate connection. Now, you got some stupid asses that will think the word intimate just applies to sex. No, it doesn't. Intimacy can also apply to you having a conversation. Conversations that you usually wouldn't have with just any random old body. You would have, personal conversations with your friend, whether it be good or bad. All right. So when you're eating food with your best friend, or with people that you grew up with, that's a form of intimacy. And in that kind of setting, you have what? As I've said, private conversations about things. All right? That you can, share to people or your friends that you've known for all these years. You trust them. Okay? There is none understanding in him. And shall I not in that day, save the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and the understanding of the mount of Esau? And the Lord's already doing that. Because, again, these guys all together was a powerhouse. All of these EU countries, right along with NATO, let me correct myself there. NATO overall was a powerhouse not to be reckoned with. So what are they doing? Like they're making wrong moves and they're not being diplomatic, especially DJ Trump. DJ Trump is so undiplomatic. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. All right. Maybe his advisories knows exactly what they're doing in regards to what's happening geopolitically, but he doesn't have a clue probably. It's just hodgy-podgy, if I can use that word. This is the way it's looking on the side of the West. Everyone is just doing what they feel and what they think. There's no kind of set of plan or the diplomacy. All right. They're not using wisdom. They're not thinking this thing through. All right. And you got the French over there. This guy, what's his name, man? What's the Prime Minister of France? Yeah, this is the guy right here, the president of France here. Emmanuel Macron, he's giving this speech telling Iran to stop these attacks, when in fact he should have his soldiers down there to help America with this Iranian thing. But again, it ties back to Bible prophecy, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing that we're seeing. Okay, of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, that they're not together, and that they were just leading America on and allowing America to get itself into trouble that it can't come out of. Revelations, 17 and 16 now. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So that's going to be the last resort. So the 10 horns represents the 10 original nations which came into NATO. All right. The original 10 European countries which joined NATO in 1949. And then you have here Daniel 7. And the reason for this is because of the pride that America would convey. As this reads over here, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, which is Rome coming back all over again, or the beast of Rome, should I say, as Daniel's putting it, which were already in the revived version of Rome. And this is what this is talking about as well. And of the other which came up before whom 3 fell, which the 3 horns that fell were the British, the Spanish, and as well as the French. Even of that horn, and I mean, you can check that in when you read the Revolutionary Wars of America. All right. Even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. So who are his fellows? Again, the European countries. So the original meaning of stout I typed, because when you look up the current meaning, it goes off. Because Esau is still continuing on with this new speak. So the original meaning of stout from this the 13th century was valiant, brave, or proud, haughty, and sometimes fierce or cruel. Derived from Old French, a stout, brave, fierce, or proud. And that's the spirit of America. America's acting real brave and fierce. Why? Because they trust in their military power. They believe that military power is the way to get in their own way all the time. And so they can bully the earth as they've been doing throughout the years. And it's worked for them. It's worked. But guess what? It's not going to work against the wrong nation. All right. And the wrong nation to use that on is Iran and Russia and China. They ain't going for that. You can't listen. You can't bully Iran, and you can't bully the 2 nations that is doing business with. So that's the wrong nation to apply that to. All right. So that's why they've been deceived in their pride, because they take pride in their military power. That's how Rome was Rome in terms of its power was concerned. That's how Rome became great, due to the military power. And they prided themselves off of that. So it's the same down. How DJ Trump, he prides himself in the American military. And he lies to the American people by propaganda, telling them we have the greatest military in the world, and how we took down a leader of Iran, and we took down their ships, and this and that and the third. And he's just talking nonsense, because we can go on the X right now and see the real news as to what's really being had. All right. So there you go, man. I think I've said what I had to say on this right here. I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and the Son, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Hakwadash. And with that, I'm going to close on this one. Shalom.